Okay, next in line for my interviewee next, we have Emma with three M's. That's Emma, who's been described as an alternative pop multi-instrumentalist and artist. Lovely to have you on the show and programs. How are we today?
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Feeling good today. It's so nice and warm out. In a good mood.
Lovely to
Good day.
hear. And where are you situated, like in the world right now? Are you on tour? Are you?
So I leave for tour tomorrow. I'm right now in my flat in London, but I leave in the morning.
Great. Right. Sure. We'll talk about your tour shortly. Here to invite you on my show to talk about your new single as well. You're campaigning for called The Wednesday's Child. Can you just briefly tell me about this record, for instance, like the mystery behind it and what the fans can expect from it?
Absolutely. So Wednesday's Child is inspired by a sticker that I saw in a pub stall, and I was very intrigued. And we all know, Edgar Allan Poe's poem "Wednesday's Child" is full of wow, but I just hadn't seen it just Wednesday's Child kind of in the world on its own. So I Googled it, and I was very curious. And then I did look up when my ex was born. It was on a Wednesday. So you can expect very cathartic, kind of big, like a main character of a movie moment with this song, I think. It kind of has a deep emotional yearning, but still upbeat, and it's like a you can kind of scream to it and it feels good.
Great, because I know Wednesday's Child was from a literary works, like Monday's Child, and then Friday's Child Full of Grace. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I know where that's from, like a nursery rhyme. Was that kind of the along them lines as well?
Yeah, yeah, it's the Edgar Allan Poe poem. And I don't know exactly what all the days are, but I know he lists all the days and they each have their meaning. But yeah, Wednesday's Child was interesting and it stuck out to me.
Great. And would you say you're quite an avid fan of like, literary works and poetry?
I definitely am. I didn't come across this through reading the poem. I came across this, like I said, in a pub stall, which is a lot less classy. But that's okay. But I do very much enjoy reading and poetry, and you kind of have to if you like to write music, I think.
That's nice. And where did you record Wednesday's Child? Like, and also who you worked with on this track as well?
Yeah, so I started this track and wrote it and began the production with Jack Dean and Eden Rain in London, in Richmond. And we wrote that together last February. And then, we got it to a really good point, and then I brought it to Ben Weiland, who is my frequent collaborator based in LA. And he kind of finished and put the final little tweaks on it, and then it became the song that was released.
And they have the final product out there.
Yeah, very exciting.
And how have you found it being received by the listeners so far?
Yeah, I think people are really able to kind of grasp onto the emotional depth that it has.
Mm.
And I think a lot of people are seeing themselves in the song in ways that they have been in relationships that are not necessarily like super one-sided. Maybe one person is a little bit more involved in the well-being of the other one, and it happens. We've all
Mm.
been, and hopefully it helps everyone going through that.
And in the song Wednesday's Child, would you say it has a touch of like many emotions?
Certainly does. I feel like it brings out a lot of varying stages of kind of grief and anger and sadness and acceptance that I definitely went through. And I feel like a lot of people go through it too. So
Mm.
maybe it's a universal feeling, and that makes me feel a little bit better.
And you mentioned the song was put together from February with the recording of the track. How was that experience, working on the track with a full backing of like producers and musicians? Was it a memorable experience?
Oh yeah, so much fun. I had a great time doing it. I really love Eden and Jack, and they're both amazing artists in their own right. And I think they had a lot to bring to the table. And the day that we did it was really, really fun. It was a good time, and I love them both. They're great.
Your new single as well has attracted fans from the likes of Chappell, Roan, Holly Humberstone. That must be a satisfactory comparative.
I'm not complaining. I'm very happy with that.
Very
I
good.
love that. They're great.
And what styles of music influence you personally, like acoustic and so on?
Yeah, great question. I grew up listening to a lot of like 60s singer-songwriters with my mom. So a lot of Joni Mitchell, a lot of James Taylor and Carole King was in the house. A lot of jazz, Nora Jones as well in the house. And my dad brought his kind of classic rock into the mix. So Boston was a big band, Eagles, Steely Dan. There's all of that was constantly playing in the house. And I feel like that really influenced my writing today, obviously with a more, modern twist to it. There's a bit more of an edge to it, but I'm always going to be inspired by those classics
Right.
that I
What
grew
do you think of like, the vinyl resurging as well and people buying record players?
I love it.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so much fun. There's something like holding a physical copy of music in your hand. I think it's very special.
And do you think the resurgence in vinyl has kind of saved the local record shop?
I hope so.
Mm,
I don't know exactly, but I would like to think that it's a like a memorabilia. It's like a collectible, and hopefully
mm.
that'll. There are a lot of collectible stores still open, so I'd like to think that physical copies are keeping small businesses open.
Ticking over, yeah, sure. I know we've still got a few HMVs in the country across our towns and cities, which is still good. Also, Wednesday's Child is out now on all good streaming outlets. Is it just on streaming? As I said, like streaming outlets is out, but do you have like any physical copies, or is it just on Spotify and so on?
Just digital, but it's everywhere, all
That's
online.
fine. And it's doing well for itself. Just touching on some other singles you have released previously, one called "Cut the Brakes" as well. Is that one you're proud of?
Oh yeah. They're all like my babies. I love them in different ways. I really am proud of Cut the Brakes because I feel like it signifies a big shift in my life. Um, from our last EP, the first song that was released off of this current EP that we're rolling out. And I think it's a really big catalyst moment for me and for the project. And it kind of has this new sound to it, this new energy to it, and a bit new plot to my life. And I really love Cut the Brakes, and I'm glad that it is, people are still streaming it. That makes me happy.
That's good. Another track you released as well, titled "Secondary Character." I like the sound of that. And I have to ask, this has an intriguing song title. What's the story behind this record? And an add-on to that question, do you feel most people have an alter ego somewhere deep down, like a second character?
Yeah, also a good question. Um, I basically wrote the song feeling like I was a secondary character in my own life. And I felt like I was taking a back seat to a lot of things that were really important to me. And I was letting other things pass me by, and I wasn't creating the main character life that I know that I deserve. Um, I think we all have a little bit of that self-sabotaging kind of secondary feeling, but I really, really, really hope that like, I know I'm, working on becoming the main character, and I think we all deserve to be the main character in our own lives. So
Mm.
hopefully this song will inspire everyone to maybe not be so much of the secondary and be more of their own main character.
Because I do feel sometimes that people have another persona and they put on a mask on to conceal, what's happening
Yeah, a lot of people
behind
do.
the
And
scenes. Yeah.
it's tough and it's tricky, but it's certainly not a unique experience. I think we all have those moments
Mm.
for sure.
And just two of the tracks there we mentioned. Do you like to revisit some of your past discography when you're performing live as well? Like the hits, do they always go down well?
I am not going to play any past discography this tour. Um, the only songs that have been released that I'll be performing are Cut the Brakes and Wednesday's Child, and the rest are going to be unreleased. So we're going to see how that goes. And I know people won't really know them. I will be throwing in a cover that a lot of people know. So hopefully that'll be a little bit, you know, people can like latch on to
Yeah.
something that they know. But I'm really excited to be playing a lot of songs that people don't know, and maybe they'll like it and be excited for them to come out.
So keeping it fresh this time round.
Very fresh. Yeah.
That's good. And do you still get a thrill from performing live?
Always. It's always going to be something that excites me. I've been doing it my whole life and it never gets old. My gosh, going on a stage and even if it's five people in the audience, still being able to share your story never gets old for me.
And speaking of performing live, you're supporting an all-round musician, JC Stewart, on a tour in towns and cities, including Bristol, Newcastle, Liverpool, Birmingham, and not forgetting up there in Glasgow, in Scotland.
Yeah. Starting tomorrow.
Amazing. Where's best for people just to check, the dates for these, like an official website?
Absolutely. Yes. My website is Emma with three M's .os. And you can find all of my Instagram, all of my social handles, everything on my website, tour dates. It's all there.
And one of your career highlights, what has been your proudest achievement to date?
Oh my gosh. It might not be something that other people think is uh amazing, but that's okay. I've been getting a lot of DMs from people, from real people who have been saying that my music has touched them in a certain way. And, it hasn't been a million, but every message that I get, I read them and it makes me feel like I do, this is why I do it. If I can help someone or make someone feel less alone and they let me know, I'm doing my job right. And that makes me feel amazing. That's my proudest thing that I've ever had.
That's lovely to hear. And one of the questions I have asked the previous guests on this show was like, back connectivity with your listeners. Do you feel that's as an artist, that's an important integral role to do?
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason that people or that I have become an artist is to connect to my listeners. That's the only reason that I do this. I mean, yes, I can write music that it feels like therapy for me in the moment and it's very cathartic for me, but it's a service industry. Like I think artists are in service of people, and I feel like the connection to the listeners is the most important thing of everything. And it's an
Mm.
honor to be able to do that.
I know some artists like who are like who break through they leave like lead busy lives, but do you feel if they take like half an hour out of their day just to reply to someone
Mhm.
do you think that's a worthwhile thing for them to do?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine how excited someone would get if an artist like that they really, really loved responds to their message? Like
Mm.
that would, I don't know. If I DM'd an artist that I really loved and they responded to me, I would lose my mind. So that's that maybe that's just me, but it's a connection. And I think that's
Mm.
the most important thing. It'd be really exciting to hear back from an artist, I think.
Interesting. And then what do you think of today's music and what kind of music are on your playlist these days?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a resurgence, a pop resurgence right now, and I am loving it. I mean, I grew up on listening to Rihanna and Beyonce, as everyone does, like post post parental influence. And when I started finding music on my iTunes and buying that, that just dated me so hard, but that's okay. Um, there's a total comeback of the pop girl, and I think pop used to be kind of a dirty word. It was for me for a really long time. I refused to say that I was a pop artist for
Mm.
years and years and years. Um, but now I feel like I'm happy to say that I'm, alternative pop. I think that's not a dirty word. And I think there's some amazing mainstream artists right now that I think because they're so good, people are gravitating towards them. That's what makes it pop.
Mm.
I think just the talent is winning out and it makes me so happy.
Because like the younger generation as well, it's amazing how many of the older songs I know from about 30 years ago, from the 90s as well. There was a lot of alternative, music like Britpop and, ambient music as well. And they know all the songs, which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It's great. I love
And
it.
so you got this tour that's now, basically, when this interview airs, and
Mhm.
looking forward to the rest of 2025. Is that looking promising as well?
I think so. I'd like to think it will be. We'll be releasing a lot of singles and an EP later this year. I'm doing a lot of performing, so definitely I'll be busy and talking about it. So you won't, hopefully you
Great.
don't miss me.
Great. And would you just like one final opportunity to share your social media platforms as well?
Absolutely. So my website is Emma with three M's.os. You can find all of my Instagram handle from there. My Instagram is going to be Emma Says and Emma with three M's. And same with my TikTok. And that's it. Those three.
And for a bit of a treat for my listeners as well, we can play your new single Wednesday's Child as well. Would you like to introduce it on?
Absolutely. My name is Emma with three M's, and you're going to listen to my brand new single. It's called Wednesday's Child.
Great. Thanks for your contribution on today's show. It's been lovely speaking with you today.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Happy to be here. Appreciate you.
And all the best with this tour.
Thank you very much. Hope it goes well. Fingers crossed.